All right. All right. So we're nearing that 12 o'clock start time. So if I could just have everyone's attention. I think this is a really good sign. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. I think it's a really good sign that everyone is talking and engaged in this networking/career panel. I do want to be time sensitive, so we're nearing 12 o'clock. But before we really set off, I'd like for the panelists to come up and also the Career Center and alumni staff for a group photo. And then we'll begin. So calling all the panelists here, the speakers, to the front so we can do a little quick group photo. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you for that. All right. So we're actually going to give it 2 more minutes, and then we're going to come up. Well, since we're waiting just a few more minutes, so maybe we could take a poll of the audience. So again, my name is Bill Kelly with the Career Center. So raise your hand. How many of you are current Brookdale students? Okay, great. How many of you are alumni in the audience? Fantastic. Okay, so hence why the conversations were abuzz. So I hope you were making a new network connection. But how many of you who are students have visited the Career Center? All right, so maybe about half, right? So the Career Center is really here to help you navigate the pathway from college to career. So it's really important that you meet with us from your first semester all the way through to your last. So sometimes we think, oh, we have to go to the Career Center 2 weeks before graduation, right? No, there's so much more that needs to happen, whether it's incorporating work-based learning or internships, field placement for education into your time here while you're a student. So make sure that you meet with us at least once every semester. We're located in MAC 105. And you can email career@brookdalecc.edu to make an appointment. But I think we have everybody here now. So we'll take the time to introduce everyone else, the rest of the team that made all of this happen. But a big thanks to everyone who is here because it wouldn't be an event without you. So thank you so much, and I'll pass it along.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Quitt. I'm from the Alumni office here at lovely Brookdale Community College. You can reach out to us at alumni@brookdalecc.edu or come find me afterwards. I brought business cards. I'd love to connect with every alum. We definitely want to try to grow our connections with our alums here. So we'd like to get you to join our newsletter so we can tell you about some of the exciting things we have planned for next year. Thank you so much for coming, and we really appreciate it.
Hi guys, I'm Anna, so I'll be the moderator today for the panel. I work at the Career Center as a career peer mentor, so I can help you with resumes and just getting you ready for those first steps into your career path. I love my job and I love school here. I am graduating in May as an education major, so hopefully in a couple years I will be a high school English teacher. Really excited about that, and I can't wait for us to start.
Hi guys, my name is Francesca and I am also a student employer. I'm with the Career Center. I'm also a career peer mentor. I love my job as well. I love engaging with students, talking about future plans, and I'm also an education major who will be graduating next year in May, and hopefully in like 3 years after I get my bachelor, I'll be a high school teacher as a science teacher.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Stein. I'm a career coordinator at the Career Center. As Bill mentioned, we'd love to have you come and, throughout your time at Brookdale, come see us. We can help with resumes, cover letters, researching internships, just chatting about different career options. We have a lot of great resources, so come and see us.
Ditto. I'm Ann Laporta, also in the Career Center. Some of you look some familiar faces, some I have not seen, so please, as Bill and all have said, we're a friendly place, so come visit us. We're here to help you from your start here at Brookdale. We've got many things that will help you, assist you in your career exploration and kind of figure out what your majors are. And even if you are a graduate, you're certainly welcome to come, and we work with you with resources as well. So welcome. Thank you all for coming here today.
All right, so I'll invite the panelists to have a seat, and then Anna will be taking the lead as the moderator, always working on leadership skills as a student employee. But also, to make this a really successful event, we're calling on you, the audience. So if you do not have a question that you'd like to ask, whether it's related to a particular industry, there are bios on the seats here that you can read up on the panelists. We do have questions in the wings. So if you can't think of anything, we just raise your hand and we'll bring some questions over that might be relevant for what you'd like to as a takeaway. So Anna, if you want to take over the mic and then have the panelists introduce themselves.
Okay, so let's get started with you first.
Am I just introducing myself? All right, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Sonal Madok. I graduated here fall 2019. When I was here, I studied computer science as an associate's, and I went to Rutgers for my bachelor's. I took a semester off. I actually did my yoga certification that semester off after Brookdale. But when I was here, I spent a lot of time with the newspaper here. So it was called The Stall a few years ago. I was a part of the initiative to change that into the Current. We ended up making it digital, so now it's online. I don't think they do print anymore, actually. But that's just a little bit about me. So now I'm working as a research analyst. I'm at an R&D team for an insurance brokerage in New York. So we work a lot with risk management. I look specifically at AI risk and technology risk.
Hello, everyone. I'm Logan Goldstein. I am also Brookdale class of 2020. I was a part of the Brookdale Honors College, and I matriculated into Rutgers Business School as a business analytics information technology major. My junior year at Rutgers, I had an internship at Freddie Mac, where I was a IT intern. And then upon graduation, I work at Deloitte, which is a consulting firm. And my role is based around technology and data.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Oscar Diaz. I'm really excited to be here today. So thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the honor. And I'm a graduate of Brookdale, class of 2005. And my associate's degree was in language and communication. And the reason for that is I wanted to become a teacher. So after finishing at Brookdale, transferred to Monmouth University and obtained my bachelor's degree in languages and became a Spanish teacher. and then continue my education at Monmouth to obtain a master's degree, which allowed me to become a school administrator later in life, and then obtain my doctorate. And as of now, I am a curriculum supervisor at the Freehold Regional High School District, which is one of the largest high school districts here in the state. And so that's sort of my journey in a brief nutshell. And very excited to be here today. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Connor Hackett. I'm Brookdale graduating class of 2022. While I was at Brookdale, I internshiped at Lake House Recording Studios and Lake House Music Academy. Post-graduation, I've had several jobs. I've been the AV director for my church, a production manager for Lake House Music Academy, and currently I work for Brookdale as an event production specialist.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy Pacheco. I graduated Brookdale in 2011. I went to St. John's University in 1989 with a one-year-old in tow. Took off a bit to raise a family. Started at Brookdale in 2008, graduated in 2011, then went right on to Pace University, where I got my bachelor's degree in business with internal auditing as a minor. Through the entire time, I want to say, you're a young group, you may not find this funny, but I interned as a mom and a wife. I only did good at one of them. So things took a little bit longer, but it's okay, everybody's path is different. I worked at the March of Dimes for 17 years in 6 different positions, worked at a variety of other nonprofits, and I am at Rutgers now 5 years. I am the Chief Financial Officer for the Institute for Health, Healthcare Policy, and Aging Research. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Passanello. I manage a hedge fund in Denver. Went to Brookdale in 2009, studied sociology just because it was the easiest degree for me. I was a pretty bad student. After graduating, I moved to Yosemite Valley, California, and I was a rock climber. And I lived in my tent for a while, ran out of money, went to Denver. And basically just found mentors, read books, worked really hard, always had multiple jobs, and discovered Bitcoin pretty early on, and decided I would open up a hedge fund. And I had no idea what a hedge fund was, but I knew it was the only way to take people's money legally and invest it into the cryptocurrency market. Very non-traditional story, but hopefully I can, add value to you guys today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for introducing. If we have any specific questions for anyone here, I'm going to open up for you guys. Okay. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Andrew. My question's for all of you in general. I actually submitted an application to Rutgers, and I said I got in, but I have this worry for one of my classes. I will not mention it. Well, the worry is that it might fail. What happens if you do fail class, even though you say you got into that respective transfer? I'm doing Rutgers and Brookdale for the business school. I'm doing the Brookdale program. Yes.
I can take that because I applied to Rutgers Business School, and they actually rejected me at first because of an issue on my transcript that they saw, and it was a mistake, obviously. We figured it out. So first, my advice would be don't fail the class. I
will try not to.
That would be a big issue if you failed the class. So RBS only takes transfers in the fall semester, and if you don't get it this time around, right? If you need to retake the class, you'd have to retake it in the summer. Yeah. And if you failed it again, I think you'd be putting your acceptance in jeopardy. But if you make it work, it'll be okay. You just resubmit your transcripts right before you transfer into Rutgers, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, I can definitely do it. It didn't take long before. Just hopefully to take the class then. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay. Hi, my name is Carolyn. I just have a general question for all of you. How do you approach career planning and goal setting to ensure alignment with your values, interests, and long-term aspirations?
I can speak to that a little bit from an educator perspective. Are you a year 1 student here? Second year? What's your major or your focus?
I currently have a major in performing arts, but I'm working towards the veterinary program that they have here.
Okay. All right, fantastic. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I tell my own kids. So you have to pursue your passions, but the most important thing, and from my own experience as well as an immigrant, is pursue opportunities, because opportunities are what will lead you into a better participation in the labor force, which means in the economy. What I'm saying is, I'm sure you have amazing skills and knowledge on many different areas. Try to start finding something through internships or getting jobs or volunteering at different places where you would find a comfort level for you to say, you know what, I think I want to pursue this career pathway. Okay? And then that way you start putting your energy and your focus towards that. Whether it is STEM, which is an area that has a tremendous amount of opportunity. We have 2 panelists here, 3 actually, with Taylor at the bottom, who are engaged in technology. Is the labor market that offers the most opportunity currently, including, benefits and salaries. So, starting to do some research on that area may be something that interests you. If it's not that, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in other areas as well. But what I tell my kids is, put your energy into opportunities that will give you an economical benefit. Money is not everything, okay? But when you don't have it, it becomes a problem, okay? So it is the most genuine advice I can give you. And then through that, to start finding things that, you can do as far as a job is concerned, and hopefully fall in love with it. And if not, you see it as an opportunity, you'll go far with it.
Thank you.
We'll just add, can you hear me? That was fabulous, by the way. I wish you could have just told my kids that. For me, I'm very mission invested. So when it's helping other people, I work really hard, because that is what drives me. I want to help people. I'm a giver. So learning that about myself helped me figure out what path to go to. So I've ended up in the nonprofit sector for over 20 years, and now I'm within the Rutgers University at a research institute where they're creating research that helps people. So it's really looking at yourself and saying, what do I love? What would I love to do, and what would give me, obviously, money to live on, because you do need to be able to live. Great question, though.
I have one more point. So I know you mentioned you are very interested in performing arts. So I wasn't too interested in that space, but I was interested in fighting when I was younger, and I played with it and thought, oh, maybe I could be a fighter one day. Obviously, I didn't go that route. But when I looked at people at my gyms that I trained in and they were fighters, I said, okay, these people, nothing about me makes me so extraordinary that here's where they are in 5 years of effort and work and dedication in this. I probably will be about at their level if I follow their path. And I looked at the lives they were living, and I saw how they were living and how much money they were making and the struggles they had. And I sort of looked at their lives, and I analyzed, what did they do? Why did they make these decisions? And where are they today? And if I say, followed this path in fighting, am I okay with having this life at 28, 31, 35? And am I willing to make those sacrifices to follow my dreams? And I think a big part of following your dreams is to make sure you're not sold on an idea of what your life will be. So if I were to tell somebody who's interested in performing arts, I would say, go to New York City, Columbia, NYU, places that have very strong performing arts programs, connections to the major playhouses in the city, Broadway. And really, I would try and talk to actors, talk to stars, talk to leads, talk to co-leads, say, what was your path to get there? What kind of life do you live today? Would you have done things differently? And it's different when you have people from a panel who aren't in the field saying, this is what you should do. But if you talk to someone who, say, is an actor, is an actress, and they say that, or is, say, a dancer, and they say, yeah, my life's hard, and, I had to forgo a lot of opportunities, and I couldn't get married, and you hear a different perspective from those people directly. So I think as long as you can talk to those people and make an informed decision and sort of accept to take that suite of risks with your life, that'd be my advice to you.
Hi, I'm just wondering, for those of you whose degrees were in the social sciences, how do you feel like the skills and knowledge that you learned in the classroom have been able to be translated, into the workplace for you?
That's a great question. Thank you. And I have a personal experience with that. As I was completing my my degree here at Brookdale, there's one specific professor that I can think of that what I learned in that class has worked for me and helped me and carried me all the way through my doctoral dissertation work. And that professor was Dr. Ave Latte. It was a psychology class that I took. She was the professor, and one of the things that she taught the class was how to annotate bibliographies. And I never realized, of course I did the work and did the best that I could, but I never realized how important that was in the world of social sciences. As I went to complete my bachelor's studies at Monmouth and then my master's degree and then my doctoral degree, the skills I learned there in that particular class carry me all the way through. And of course, you get better over time, but I learned that here. And that's something that is very specific, that I can remember that helped me throughout my entire academic life and professional life.
So I have a question myself that I wrote down. I wanted to ask you guys if anyone could discuss transferable skills or experiences that have been valuable to you across your career or just in general in your life.
Oh, hi. So some transferable skills that I honestly, I think underestimated was definitely communication, teamwork skills. I can't stress that enough. When you're working with different types of people, it's really important to remember, or have those experiences where you're able to, think about how you want to navigate a situation and being compassionate with other people. I think one of the struggles I went through was coming from college to career was that, in college you get to choose your environment. I was always around my friends. I felt very safe and stable and, everything was kind of controllable. But when you get into the career world, it's a little bit different, and you'll be thankful that you put yourself in positions in your college life where you're able to take a leadership position or be involved in your community. Because then you get to really learn about people from different age ranges, different experiences, things like that. Because in the career world, of course, there's going to be challenges, and sometimes it is a people-to-people thing. And I think that's when you really have to lean into, your skill set in regards to how you view yourself, your individuality, the boundaries you want to set, the value structure you have, and then understanding other people as well. So that's something that I thought I underestimated. I didn't really realize it would affect me so much, but it's something that I think has helped me grow into my adulthood. So, anybody else like to take it?
Hello. Yeah. I'd say endurance because, the road to, let's call it, being successful, it's kind of like a running race, but the only difference is you don't know how long the race is. So you're going to see people next to you maybe finish after 300 feet or 1 mile or 10 miles or 20 miles. It might take you 100 miles. So, in life, pacing yourself. Maybe you're not sprinting during that period of your life. Maybe you're walking, but continue pushing forward and just keep going. So I really think endurance is incredibly, important to keep in mind because you don't know when you're going to finish. And then when you do get there, I guarantee you're going to be on to the next thing. You're going to be like, cool, I accomplished that. Now what else do I want to do? But yeah, just pace yourselves and be kind to yourselves and other people, and you'll get there. Just enjoy it as you're doing it, because life will be over one day, and you're going to look back and be like, man, should have enjoyed those 10 or 20 years more than I did.
And one more point I have too on the topic of endurance. It's really important to develop an ability to push through something you don't necessarily enjoy or like, to sort of reap the greater reward. So I hated school. When I was a freshman in high school, I dreaded every single day. I hated school. I hated coming and getting, I mean, it's funny to say, but I hated coming and having to sit in the class and take notes and learn, and I hated it all the way up until the day I had my last final and graduated Rutgers. And I realized that it doesn't matter if you hate it or not. It's really a requirement to have, to work a lot of the jobs that you'd want to work, and it's really a gateway to succeed. And even if I didn't enjoy school, I sort of made sure to do well in it and to succeed in it, because I realized, right, I don't like the process. It's like going to the gym. If you run and run and run, you might hate running, but you'll have better cardiovascular health, you'll be healthier. It's the same thing with school. Even if you don't enjoy it, it's really important to do well in it and to succeed, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to move you forward in life. And, no one's going to say, well, Logan, I'm interviewing you today for this really nice job, and I'd love to hire you, but you just didn't enjoy school. No, they see your GPA, they see the clubs you did, they see how you participated, and that's really how you're judged when you get to that stage of your life.
I would like to add something to the comments too. Communication is essential. Endurance it's the resiliency, right, that gets you through challenges and adversity, and that's of course essential as well. And as I was listening to the panelists, I was also thinking about how important it is to recognize the weaknesses that you have, so that you can become a better communicator. My weakness was writing. English was not my first language. Is not my first language, and never, Spanish is. But when I came to Brookdale, something that I found, which I recognized later in life, was that the professors were very kind to me. They never gave me a grade, meaning they never gifted me anything, but many of them were extremely conscious that I was trying my best, and that they would be willing to help me. What I should have also done at the same time is recognize it myself and ask for help. That is essential. Do not feel that asking for help is a sign of weakness. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. The only thing that matters is where you want to go. So what I did during that time, it's just a very personal experience, is the way I got through that was by actually rewriting textbooks. I don't even know where those boxes are with the notebooks that I have of the text. It's literally just rewriting the textbooks, and that's how my English got better over time. But and spending hours at the writing center, so that's part of the endurance too, and the resiliency, and just keeping focus on where you want to be, and through that, being able to find the resources that will help you just continue to grow. And that's a skill that I think it's something that we don't really talk about. But communication, endurance, identifying your weaknesses so you can identify the resources that you need in order to grow are essential. And it would just, make you, the best person over time of what you can become without comparing yourself to anybody else.
I'll add to an important thing that I learned during my time here was vulnerability, right? With music, especially if you're collaborating with someone, it can be a very personal thing, but it's also the ability to be vulnerable with yourself and others. Being vulnerable with others is a hard thing to do, especially if you have social anxiety, but putting yourself out there and networking is absolutely crucial for success. And being vulnerable with yourself, I like to ask myself 3 questions once in a while. It's who do I want to be, why, and what can I do to get there? Just 3 basic questions, no overthinking, just 3 basic things to figure out what your core values are and what's important to you.
Thank you, guys. Those are all really great answers. Opening up again to anyone, if anyone has any questions they want to ask. Sure.
Hi, I'm Sarah. How did you guys choose the schools you went to after Brookdale? I'm in my last semester, just so you guys know. Thank you.
Hi, I was my story is different. I was an adult, 3 kids, already in a career, doing everything at the same time. Everything was happening all at once. But I went into Brookdale, and they were the most incredible, helpful counselors. And in most cases, I was older than the professors and some of the counselors, and it didn't matter. There was no age. I said, I don't know what to do now. Where am I going? So now I have this associate's degree. I want a bachelor's degree. What should I do? And the counselor was so wonderful. And she said, I can't tell you what to do, but why don't we sit down together and talk about what you may like to do? So that's where it started. And I ended up going to PACE, and I did the bachelor's program, 18 months. I went year round. It was every night. It was through the seasons, my summers. It was fine. I did what I needed to do, and it was wonderful. So I would say go to the counselors because they are amazing. There are signs, there were when I was here, signs everywhere in the university for next steps, partnerships, and all of these wonderful opportunities that are available to everyone. So definitely speak with the counselors.
May I ask what you're studying?
My degree is business administration with a concentration in marketing.
And then do you know what you want to major in when you matriculate?
I'm planning to, so I've already applied to Rutgers, and I was accepted this week. I wanted to study digital marketing. I kind of want to work on more like analysis of the market. I really find it fascinating to learn like how people think.
Yeah, so I think you and I are of a similar mind when I was in that position. So what I did was I looked, so state schools, this is a cool thing too, maybe the counselors will learn something from this, but state schools are required to publish what are called year-out reports. And what that means is you need to publish your students' outcomes. So Rutgers, TC at the College of New Jersey, I know University of Texas, University of Florida, all the major state schools require this data, publish this data, and you can glean some pretty useful things. So what I looked for was employment rate upon graduation and average salary on graduation, because I sort of made the decision saying, well, I'm going to continue my education to get a good job, and I'm going to make the assumption that the schools that have the schools and majors that have the highest salary on graduation are offering the best jobs. So I made a pretty cookie cutter approach to deciding to go to Rutgers and Bate because I knew I wanted to stay in state. So that left me with Rutgers, College of New Jersey, Stevens, a few other schools. NJIT is really good as well. And I said, okay, of those schools I'm applying to, I looked through all the majors that they had, engineering, computer science, business, and I saw, well, okay, engineering's really hard. I don't quite think I could do well at that. I studied in business administration. Rutgers, this aligns with what I studied at Brookdale, and I just chose the major with the highest salary that seemed interesting to me. So that was how I did it. I think it was, I don't know if it's such an easy quantitative process for everybody, but that's just one tool you can use to figure out where you want to go when you graduate.
Devil's advocate real quick. You could just go into the workforce too and, get jobs and figure out, get paid to figure out what exactly you really want to do and then go back to school. I tried doing that multiple times and I just kept dropping out of school and eventually didn't need it, but you could do that. You could find market analysis positions, get paid, do it for a year, be like, cool, I really don't like that. I really like this, and then go back and pay the money to finish your 4-year degree. Yeah, I don't know, just another, perspective.
And something that I would like to add to Sarah, and Sarah's probably like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting to get all this, but it's a lot of information. There's other aspects too, how much you're able to afford. Like for example, in my case, when I was able to come to Brookdale, I knew that I wanted to go to Monmouth University, and it wasn't the cheapest option, but I was married and I had a kid. So the proximity was a big factor for me. And I had to choose between Monmouth or Georgian Court at the time, and I decided to go to Monmouth because it had a better reputation, as far as the School of Education was concerned at the time. So there isn't a one answer to your situation, Sarah, but it's your situation that will give you the answer. And I think the advice here was incredible. Coming from Taylor too, if you want to go into business, I think having an actual experience will be extremely important. Getting a job, seeing if you actually want to live at Rutgers or you can commute from Rutgers to your home. Like all of those things play a variable in it. But once you start answering those questions, the answer will become very clear to you. So I wish you the best of luck.
I also want to say to everybody here, and regardless of what you're going to do when you graduate, no disrespect to anybody who graduated from these great universities. When I hire, and it will all depend on the interviewer. Depending on the field you're going into and who the interviewer is, sometimes it doesn't matter what your GPA was, where you came from, because when I interview people, I'm looking at what they've done, what experience they're bringing with them. For me, it's really important for that person to be personable, open, transparent. I don't want someone that's going to come in and put on a dramatic show of why they should get this job and be so rigid. I want to see who they are. We're going to be working together. I want to know who you are. So I always say an interview, even if you did 100 of them and you didn't get the jobs, it is so incredibly important to be who you are, and don't ever, ever tip your hat or say something that you would do because you think that's what the interviewer wants to hear, because that's not the answer. So I hired 12 people last year from all different walks of life. Some have masters, some have PhDs, more education than I have. And the reason, what made them so valuable was they were an incredible person. The things they've done, what they were bringing to the team, they demonstrated their ability to earn a spot on that team. So to me, and I can only speak for myself, that's what's important. I graduated from PACE as an adult. I was already in my late 40s. Not once did anybody say, well, what was your GPA? Because I was already an adult. I would have laughed and said, please don't make me tell you it's embarrassing. And it was embarrassing because I went through a divorce, was raising 3 kids, and losing a house at the same time. So try getting an A in any class during that time. So my journey tells me that I need to be who I am and real, because if somebody's going to like me, they're going to want to know the real me and not be like, oh, God, she would put on this persona during the interview, and this one's a hot mess. And by the way, I'm not a hot mess, but I think everybody gets the gist of it. So just be who you are.
And also, who says that you need to immediately go to college right upon graduating, right? I like what Taylor said, just getting experience to see if you like it. But, everyone's path here is completely different, and we're all doing good things. So I wouldn't say there's as much pressure to immediately, pursue higher education post-graduation, because there's so many different options, and you can still be successful regardless of what you choose.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to go over to Bill here.
Well, from the Career Center, we're always encouraging students to take on internships or student employment. Can you speak on how you were engaged during your time at Brookdale, whether it was through a club or organization, student employment, or maybe an internship, if you can share the importance of that?
So I can definitely speak to that. During my time here, I interned at Lake House Music Academy. One of these things is that what's important is to make your own opportunities, right? At Lake House, I walked in there, and there was not a sign that said, interns apply here, we're looking for you. I just visualized it in my head, and I was like, this is something that I want to do. What can I do to get there? Well, it's okay. I have to collaborate between Lake House and the Career Center, which I found. I put forth the effort, and I made it happen. You have to make your own opportunities. And take advantage of everything Brookdale has to offer. I went here during COVID, and I wasn't able to fully experience the college life. And, I work here now, and I'm able to see the good things that the Career Center is doing. If you have a disability, go to disability services, join student life. There are so many great outlets and opportunities to network that students just don't realize how important these connections are. They can benefit you even years on down the line, but it's just important to make those connections. And, internships matter. The connections I made at Lake House from that internship, I I got another internship working in their recording studio, and then after that, I was able to work for Lake House upon graduating. So again, it's not just the internship, it's the connections you make during the internship, and Brookdale has the resources to make that happen.
So, do you want to add something in there?
I just wanted to second that. I think that it's really important to get involved wherever you are. I kind of have a different story. I never got an internship formally, so I was really, really discouraged when I got into the job market when I started applying because I really felt like I would have nothing to offer. It was tough for me. I will second Stacy's point. I was not being myself in interviews, and that is exactly why I was not doing well. I felt like I had to constantly fit the mold that I thought this person wanted from me instead of me leaning into who I really am. And I realized that, who I really was, at Brookdale, it was so easy for me to be myself here. I think there's that sense of community here where you don't feel like you're going to be judged. At least that's how it was for me. And I felt like that was so powerful. I tried to kind of hone in that spirit I was given into my time when I was applying for jobs. So while I was at Rutgers, I tried to make the most out of it. I started trying to get involved with research labs there, and that's how I ended up really getting inspired by research. I definitely agree to Stacey's point too. I really like giving. I like doing something that's fulfilling, and noticing that was finally how I was able to find a job that kind of fit my role. And I think the moment that you're able to accept yourself as you are and make that decision, that leap to be fully who you are, the right position will come. And I know that sounds very magical thinking, but it does happen. You just have to, and people can sense that. When you're in an interview and you're kind of talking about yourself and your experiences, they can feel it. They can feel that, okay, you're being genuine and things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to offer that. So don't let that be a factor that demotivates you. I was still able to acquire some experience just by getting out there and talking to people. So be mindful of that, don't let it discourage you.
Yeah, and one more thing too, for anyone interested in technology, business, analytics, research, anything like that, you should be looking for an internship. And it's also very important to practice your technical skills. So one of the advantages of being at Brookdale is that you definitely have more time than you would at a 4-year, and you have more time than in your junior or senior year when you really have very heavy major-specific course loads. And if I could do things again, I probably would have looked at those skills that are in high demand in my field, and I would have definitely gotten a lot better at them. Because even now, today, I think I'm 4 years away from my Brookdale graduation. If I had practiced those technical skills, they'd be coming up again. So there are certain skills, like if you're in finance or any sort of accounting, anything to do with numbers, like Microsoft Excel is a skill that you should probably have pretty well. And that's something you could practice even in high school, middle school. There's 10-year-olds on the internet who are amazing at these things. And these are skills that will pay dividends. And if you invest in them at a young age and while you're at Brookdale Community College, you'll have a much easier go of things, especially when you have Sonal studied computer science. And when you have those technical interviews down the line, you'll thank yourself that you put the time in today to build those skills. And I was at Rutgers yesterday, and I was discussing sort of college plans with Rutgers juniors, sophomores, and seniors about what they plan to do in graduation. I was there with my company, and I kept on hearing that a lot of them struggled in interviews because they didn't have technical skills. So if you're in a field like technology, marketing, anything research-based, you want to be able to articulate to your interviewers sort of what research you did on the field, right? That's the first thing. And then what skills do you have technically? How can you directly contribute to the job on day one? Because that's always such a good thing. For any role, when you say if you're looking for a market research job and you say, yeah, here I prepared a paper on this company that was in the news recently, or that company, or I looked at this current event and I have a perspective on that. Those are skills that an interviewer says, wow, an undergraduate in college is coming to me with this. That's amazing, and it really shows your genuine interest in the field and is such a huge boon.
To internships too. I actually recently surveyed a bunch of, in my case, audio engineers in the field, and I brought up internships, like what do they look in interns? And I'll be honest with you, the answer that I got 99% of the time was you need to learn how to connect with people. You need, social skills. They even said too, even if you don't feel qualified for an internship, I feel like most times you are, even if you have experiences like, in the service industry, if you're working at a restaurant, you don't realize it, but you're developing social skills. It's teamwork. These are skills that you may not realize you're developing, but you are. And if you're an intern, you're probably not doing, depending on the field, like the most technical work, right? You build up to that, you build connections during your internship, but don't let, a lack of experience ever think that you are unqualified for an internship.
Okay, so I want to wrap up with probably the most important question. If you guys have any piece of advice you'd give either to what you wish that you would have known or something that you really want anyone here to know, I'd love to hear from all of you.
But I'll focus on the ones that were really serving me now in my day-to-day. Asking for help, I know somebody else mentioned that on here, and I can't stress that enough. I remember at Brookdale, I was really, I think a tough thing with being, a woman in computer science too, I experienced this, I felt very out of place. I didn't know if I would fit in, and I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I think that was something that, because of it, I became very scared to ask for help, right? Because I didn't want somebody to think that I'm dumb and then I feel like I'm not going to fit into the field. So I think that actually stayed with me, and the thing that I would offer you is to know that there's always going to be somebody in that room that doesn't know too. And oftentimes, as I got older, I realized that I became friends with these other people. We ended up making a study group, and we ended up getting through that class. My lack of asking for help led to me failing a class at Rutgers, which was, interesting, a really, really good experience for me because I had never failed a class before that in my life. And it was a very, very interesting thing to experience because I also realized that, grades don't define who you are. There's so much more than that. And it's not about the grade that, evaluates who you are too. It's about, well, how can I approach this and from a different perspective now? What could I do to achieve what I want to? And this was my first class at Rutgers. It was during COVID. It was a 300-person class online. And it was computer architecture, if anybody was wondering, who was studying CS here. And computer architecture can be a very, very grueling class. We were learning C, and I like high-level programming languages, so this was a bit tough for me. Just to make it short now, I think if now when I look back, I'm so glad that when I took my second shot at that class, I didn't give up, because at that time I was even considering quitting the major. I really thought that I wouldn't be able to do this, but eventually I actually leaned into some support with my TA and then our teacher's assistant, and then also some other students in the class who are also women, and I realized other people are going through what I'm going through, and that was what felt so good in the end that I was like, yeah, I'm not the only one, and 100%, always ask for help. Lean into your strengths. It's what makes you who you are. That'll be my last few things.
Yeah, another thing too. I think, moving away from the career perspective, I think it's really important to make connections when you're in school and to have fun and to really maximize your time. You're only in school once, twice, maybe 3 times if you get a master's or a PhD. And I as a person grew more from these 3 friends I made at Brookdale who were a year older than me, and they really shaped a lot of how I thought about business, and they shaped how I think about technology and how they work together, and those friendships I made really paid dividends. And now we all went to Brookdale, we all went to Rutgers, and now we all have 3 very different jobs. So my one friend, he is working for startups, and he does really cool jobs where he works at these new companies, and he works on pitches and strategy. Another one of my friends is a financial analyst at a bank, and I'm in consulting. So that network you build, especially when you have 3-4 years to really grow and become friends, that's a network that you'll always be able to tap for the rest of your life. And those friendships, I like to think it's what we live for. So,
the one thing that it's actually part of my own philosophy as an educator is the whole concept of opportunity, and it breaks my heart to sometimes that so many folks in our direct community do not understand or see the value and the access to opportunity that Brookdale Community College offers. It's unbelievable from an educational perspective and from a financial perspective. That can set you up in an amazing pathway with whatever it is that you choose to do. And in connection to that is something that I just advise anybody to embrace is the opportunity, which means any class you have, any opportunity to make connections you have, any opportunity to join an organization that you have, it's an opportunity. Embrace it and do it the best way that you can. So it's the whole idea of whatever situation you're in, whatever things are happening to you, they're all opportunities. They're all opportunities. Some you may like more than others, some you may not like at all, but they're all opportunities. And when you do those opportunities with effort and focus, they will take you to places that you couldn't even imagine that they would have taken you. And you're looking at it. I'm that person. Coming here, no money, zero perspective of anything, Brookdale became an opportunity. And I did it the best that I could possibly do it. And that led me to the next opportunity. And I did that the best possible way that I could do it. And that led me to the next, and the next, and the next. And that is just a way of life for me, but I advise anybody, anything that comes your way, embrace it as an opportunity and do it the best that you can because you don't know where it's going to take you.
So I just want to close with kind of just, words of inspiration, So I was at Brookdale from the fall of 2019 to the spring of 2022. COVID, obviously, quite possibly the worst time to be a college student. I literally only had one full in-person semester my entire time here, which had an enormous impact on my mental health. I mean, networking is very important, but I couldn't network. I couldn't even be in person here, no extracurriculars. It just made me feel depressed, and I have ADHD, and it's really hard to learn online in Zoom. I mean, so difficult. And, just anxiety through the roof. Like, how is, in my case, the music industry going to be affected by COVID? These really difficult things. And, even post-grad, it's like, I'm entering the workforce with just a associate's degree instead of a bachelor's degree. How is my industry going to be affected by COVID? I had a small network, because of COVID. And, later on down the line, I was like, I'm competing for jobs with people who, with my same major, who have had like a fully in-person education and have a much larger network than I do. So what the heck am I going to do? Just the feeling of just hopelessness and, imposter syndrome as well. It's a very real thing. But I mean, what helped me overcome my challenges was just being vulnerable with myself and with others, right? It's such a hard thing to do, asking yourself what's really important and just networking with people. And what helped me realize is that reaching out to people is a wonderful thing because, the worst thing they can say is no. But they can also say, realize that everyone at the top has started at the bottom as well. 9 times out of 10, they've had similar experiences that you had. A lot of people I've reached out to, they just want to help you. And all of us have had wildly different paths and so many different struggles, but it's possible to succeed. I mean, Brookdale just has wonderful resources to help you do it. So I hope you find, this inspirational, but it's possible to succeed despite wild and crazy and uncertain circumstances.
The one thing I wish I would have done when I was in Brookdale, I took classes at night and on weekends because I worked during the day. I wish I would have either created some kind of network for people that aren't available during the day, because I didn't have that. I obviously, none of you wanted to hang out with me. I was like your mother. So it was just me. And that was it. So I wish I would have established networks. So I didn't have the normal college experience, which is okay. I would go home and my kids would help me with my homework, and I swear I never cheated. But they would help me because they would explain things to me that I didn't understand. So I had my kids, but I wish I would have created some kind of network or looked to see if there was one. The only thing. Thank you. And you guys are all going to do amazing. You are.
You get to kill it. So this might sound like woo-woo. I live in Denver, Colorado now. So we're pretty out there. But, you know, be grateful for what you have now, because like everyone in the room, you guys have so much. So when things get difficult, just be grateful for what you do have. Could be a meal, could be a house, could be, you know, the ability to walk outside and breathe or look at a tree. And don't compare yourself to other people. I think, you know, even when I was growing up, we really didn't have social media. And so I really feel for you guys where you're probably even comparing yourselves to us up here. Like, don't do it. Like, you got your own journey, just go for it. There are no rules and there are no barriers. There was a dream position. I'll just tell you a quick story at a company. It's one of the biggest tech companies in the world. Opened up like 7 years ago. And I wanted the job. And the requirements were a master's in physics and 10 plus years experience. I had zero experience, no degree aside from here at Brookdale. I interviewed for 12 months and I just annoyed them until they gave me the position. So just like, screw it. Just like go for it. If you want something, just go. Just do it and be persistent with it and be grateful along the way.
I'll just add one more thing to comparison. Don't let your degree define who you are. I know, like, for example, in my case in Brookdale, an associate's degree, I had the mindset for such a long time that a person with a bachelor degree was just so much better than I am. But Brookdale is a fantastic place, and you can get fantastic experience here. And I think, too, a perk of being a Brookdale graduate, even if you have those negative thoughts of just having, you know, a 2-year degree, we simply have to work harder to be perceived by others as being more worthy compared to others with a bachelor's degree. And that work ethic of working harder translates very well to the workplace. So it doesn't matter what degree you have. If you're putting forth the effort and the work ethic, I think you'll be in a very good shape.
Yeah, definitely. And to add on to both those points, at my job, it's very people have these ideas of prestige and where'd you go to undergrad, and it's such a big thing because I guess I work with pretty well educated people, and it's really cool and it's a source of strength that I have that I went to Brookdale and I went to state school. I work with people who went to Yale, Harvard, Columbia, MIT. I work with people who are very intelligent, very well educated. And you have to know that, you know, I know in my heart that I worked just as hard as them to earn my place. And I had to put in as much, if not more effort to be recognized from my background than they did with theirs. So always view that as a source of strength, and always know that if you work hard enough and you put the work in and you really focus and dedicate yourself, you will get there. It might take a different path. And for example, there's jobs that I'd struggle to get because I only had a Rutgers degree, right? They'd want, say, if you want to work at like a fancy hedge fund, they'd say, oh, you need a Stanford, you need a, not his hedge fund, I'm sure you're, yeah, like KKR maybe, like you know, if you want to work for a fancy hedge fund, right? I'd probably have to go get a MBA at a really good school, but that door is always open to you. You could always go to Brookdale, go to Rutgers, and then work 10 years, get an MBA at Harvard or Yale or Princeton. Princeton doesn't have an MBA, or any of those schools, and get there. So your path will be different than people who had more opportunities or different opportunities, but no matter where you are today, you could always get to where you need to be.
In the interest of time, we're just going to wrap it up. But if you have time, feel free to stay, grow your network. But let's give a great round of applause to our excellent panelists. A lot of great talking points. So thank you very much on behalf of Brookdale and the Career Center. And enjoy the rest of your day. And feel free to grab some food. And again, visit the Career Center. Thank you again.